Morning, everybody. Just so everyone knows, this class is aimed towards third graders. This lesson, I guess, is aimed towards third graders. We're learning about the skeletal system. So here we go. Alright, so our key question is going to be, why do we have bones? That's the question that we want to be able to answer at the end of all of this. Bones are made out of periosteum, compact bone, cancellous bone, and bone marrow. So periosteum is thin, it has the nerves and blood vessels that give the bone the strength that they need, basically, to stay steady. Compact bone is smooth and very hard. It's the part you see like in pictures of the skeleton when you're looking at it. That's the compact bone, the outside. Cancellous bone is kind of spongy, as you can see on the end here. It looks like a sponge that you would have in your sink, so that's kind of easy to remember. And then bone marrow, that's this stuff inside of the bone. It's like thick jelly and it makes blood cells for your body. Alright. The next thing that we're going to be talking about is how bones grow. So when you're a baby, your bones are obviously a lot smaller than they are as you get older. But when a baby's born, they have 300 bones, and then they fuse together, so they kind of grow together. And when you're an adult, you have 206 bones. So you lose a lot of bones when they fuse together. Some of the baby's bones are made entirely of cartilage. And cartilage is kind of just not hard, it's squishy. It's like what's in your nose. That's what makes up your nose, is cartilage. And your bones don't stop growing until you're 25. So you have a long time to go till your bones stop growing. The first main part of the skeletal system that we're going to learn about is your spine. So the spine is your backbone. If you reach behind your back and you feel those little bumps on your back, that's the part of your spine that sticks out. The spine helps you twist and bend. It holds your body upright. If we didn't have a spine, we kind of just bend over all the time. It protects your spinal cord, which are a bunch of nerves that send information from your brain to the rest of your body. The spine is super awesome because it isn't made of a couple bones, it's made of 33 bones that are called vertebrae. And each one's kind of shaped like a ring. They're different shaped than a normal bone. As you can see, they're kind of circular over here and then pointy over here, kind of like a ring pop. So the top part of your spine is the top vertebrae, are called cervical vertebrae. There's 7 of them. The thoracic vertebrae is the middle part right here, and there's 12 bones. And then the lumbar, those ones get really thick, and there's 5. And then your sacrum, that's more like you're getting down towards your tailbone. Those are 5 bones that are fused together. And then your coccyx is 4 bones fused together. Alright. The next thing we're going to talk about is your ribs. So if you feel on the front side, right above your belly button to the sides, you can feel your ribs. Their job is to protect your heart, lungs, and liver. It's like a cage of bones around the chest. Ribs come in pairs, so you can see how they're equal on each side. In that picture, there's 12 pairs, and they attach to the your vertebrae on the back, and then attached to your sternum. That's a hard bone on your chest in the front. The last 2 bones are called floating ribs because they don't connect to the sternum or the ribs above them. But they don't float away, they stay where they're supposed to go because they attach to your back, just not your front. Alright, and then we're going to talk about the skull. So the skull is the bone on your head. Basically, it protects your brain. Some bones of the skull protect your brain, and some make up your face. So see in the diagram, how your face is made up of all those bones. That counts as the skull. And this is a baby skull compared to a normal skull, so you can see the difference, how that kind of grows and everything. When you're born, there's spaces between your bones on the skull, and then as you grow up and they fuse together, they form joints called sutures. So see how we don't have these lines anymore on the baby one. On the adult one, it's all just kind of smooth. Alright, now we're going to talk about the arms and the hands and all that stuff. So each arm is attached to a scapula, which is your shoulder blade. So when you feel back and touch your shoulder, that hard part back there is your scapula. The humerus, that's the bone of your upper body. It's above your elbow, and the whole arm is made of 3 bones. So that's one of them. The humerus is one of them, and then from your elbow down, there's 2 in there, and they're called the radius and the ulna. And then working our way down, 8 bones make up the wrist, called the carpal bones, as you can see in there. 5 bones are on the center of your hands, and then 3 bones in each finger. That's a lot for a little finger. And then you only have 2 in your thumbs because it's not as long as your other fingers. So that brings the total to 54 bones in your arm, which is pretty awesome. The legs are attached to a group of bones called a pelvis. The bone that goes from your pelvis to your knee is your femur. The kneecap is called your patella, so that kind of is in between. See it right there? And everyone knows that as the kneecap. Below the knee are 2 more bones, the tibia and fibula, so they're kind of like the radius and ulna, but in the leg instead of the arm. Where the bones attached to the foot is called the talus. Next to the talus are 6 other bones, but the main part of the foot is similar to the hand, and it has 5 bones. And then each toe has 3 tiny bones, except your big toe, which just has 2, so it's a lot like the hand. And that brings the grand total to 52 bones in the feet and ankles, in the legs and ankles, sorry. And then we're going to talk about joints. So joints are a little bit confusing, so we're not going to get too in depth about them. They're just important to know how your body moves, basically, and what helps the skeletal system do what it does. So the place where 2 bones meet is called a joint. What we're going to be focusing on is synovial joints. So there's fluid in between these joints to let you move them. Let your skeletal system do all the actions that you want them to do. The types of synovial joints are hinge joints, like in your fingers and your toes. A ball and socket, like your hips, how you can rotate it all the way around, and your shoulders. A pivot, which is your neck. A gliding synovial joint, that one's a little different. It's in your wrist. You don't really see many of those ones. Planar, that's in your ankle, and that one's a little bit different too. And saddle is your thumb. So how you can rotate it like that. It's kind of like a ball and socket, but you can't go all the way around. So the last thing we're going to talk about is how to take care of your bones, which is super important. The best way to take care of your bones is protect the skull bone, especially because that is what has your brain inside. Wear a helmet for bike riding, other sports like skateboarding, scooter, all that kind of stuff. When you ride a bike and scooter, you can add wrist supports and elbow and knee pads. You just don't want anything getting hurt or broken because that's a long process to heal. Wear the right equipment for sports, so if you play football, soccer, lacrosse, ice hockey, always wear the right equipment. And definitely be careful when you jump on a trampoline. Lots of broken bones come from that. When you drink milk and eat dairy products, that strengthens your skeleton system because it has calcium in it, which helps our bones grow. And the last way to take care of your bones is to be active. That's the best way to make sure your bones stay strong as you get older. All right, well, that's the end of our presentation. Let me know if any of you have questions. Thank you.